counterfeiting their titanium planes. That's why there's holes in them. We have Donald Trump being interviewed by Logan Paul. But more importantly, guys, we have an entire Bitcoin breakout that is setting up. So despite the clickbait, right? Despite the people that watch the 3 seconds in the beginning, we're going to be breaking this down over the next hour on why I believe Bitcoin can hit new highs very, very soon, guys. We have Bitcoin today at $66,614 here. Ethereum at $3,473, with Solana now down to $145. XRP always being XRP. Dogecoin 14 cents. Toncoin $7.86. The only mover in the top 10 up in the 24 hours. Cardano here down to 41 cents. And man, that just, it hurts me to know like Signals is too good. Signals is way too good. Like we were like, there's no way Cardano's going to go down that low. The imbalance is way down there. I was like, this chart easy. I don't think it can get to that range. It went down to that imbalance. I'm going to pull it up.
It went down that range. And I had this tweet go a little viral yesterday. We're at 48,000 views on this one. Cardano today, well, yesterday, 43 cents. 2 months ago, 43 cents. 6 months ago, 2 years ago, 3.5 years ago. And I didn't even realize this. 6 years ago, Cardano was 43 cents. You can see it right there. So, folks, you know, just calm down. Things are going to be same. But we will be higher again. New highs for most of your favorite coins. Maybe not most, but a lot.
I do think Cardano is about to bottom out. So it actually hasn't filled the one we were talking about yet. It was 30K, 41.40. It literally just almost tapped it. But we saw this imbalance a long time ago. If I zoom out to the daily here, we were looking at this imbalance probably a week and a half, 2 weeks ago. It's about to fill it on the daily. There's that 30K. What is bullish, though, is guess what, guys? We have imbalances opening up above us. Not too far above us, but there is one at 44 cents. So maybe we are going to see that double bottom. But this just goes to show, again, these imbalances do tend to get filled. So just be careful if they do pop up above you. You do not want to see those imbalances. We'll get to Bitcoin here in just a second. In the top 24 hours, guys, make sure you guys double tap that screen. This is actually not TikTok. Hit that like button.
It is TikTok.
It is both. It's both. Look at that. Not coin here, up 15% in the last 24 hours. Uniswap up 8%. Toncoin up 4.9%. And Chile coming up to the charts here. Is that like Chile's Dex? Is that what that is?
No, it's Chum Lee's meme coin.
I knew
he is
that.
a celebrity coin craze as well.
Wait, is it actually?
No, but not bad. Not Chum Lee and Cheeks. You combine them together.
Yes, 100%. Look at titles. Always clickbait. Guys, it's crazy. It's like we know how to market effectively. It got you to click and welcome to the stream, man. It must be embarrassing. But we love and appreciate every single one of you guys. So make sure you guys smash that like button and look at the losers in the last 24 hours here, guys. Arweave down 13%. Stacks now down back to 11%, or down 11%. Injective down 10.4%. Near Protocol 6.9%. Ondo down to $1.20. Ondo looking like it's trying to show some skin here. Maybe I'm going to have to jump in on that. Render here 5.9%. Fetch.ai 5.3%. And Say 5% here. Getting some losers in that last 24 hours. But chat, let's start this off the right way. Let's ask you guys what you believe is about to happen in markets, because we have a lot of analysts and videos we're going to be breaking down with you guys live today. I tend to be bullish, but 1 in the chat if you're bullish, 2 in the chat if you're bearish. 1 in the chat if you're bullish, 2 if you're bearish. I want to see where everybody's at right now, because, you know, you start getting the people that come in and go, look at the clickbait titles, when we start to see a lot of consolidation and bear action in these markets. And it just makes me more excited. It just drives me to make even bigger clickbait tomorrow, bigger headlines tomorrow, and just have more fun with it. It's just a great time. It's a great time.
You could have done something with Trump, like Trump bought Bitcoin with Jake Paul, you know, maybe something like that.
I could have. If you guys haven't seen this, we're going to just watch the intro, because I did do a 30-minute reaction video here last night on this, but check it out. Donald Trump, Logan Paul with Impulsive, and Mike here having an interview.
Biden is just so bad. He's the worst president in the history of our country.
You should make a diss track on him.
Yeah, we'll do something.
Do you think that you're starting to soften your views on some of the networks that you may have not gotten along with in the past?
No, they're fake news.
You had a street fight this past week.
And how did it work out?
How you think, Mr. President?
I think you probably did pretty good. I've watched enough of you fighting.
Unidentified aerial phenomena in the sky. We don't know what they are. Do you?
It's very possible. Really powerful stuff. AI. They made a commercial of me promoting a product, and it wasn't me. And I said, did I make that commercial?
Rap beefs. Big rap beef just happened. Drake or Kendrick?
That's funny.
The question America wants to know.
I have to admit, I watched the full thing. The first 30 minutes, pretty freaking good. The last 30 minutes when they started, the UFO talk was way too long, and it was so funny. Donald Trump he's like, look, there's very smart people that tell me their things. I've never seen one. So like, he's like, I really like, come on. You know, it was quite interesting to watch.
Chat, are there aliens? You know, that's the real question.
Yes
Do you
or no?
believe in aliens?
His answer was, we have a big universe, so I wouldn't doubt there are, but I haven't seen one. And I was like, okay. But it was very good. I think, for a breakdown, I think presidents should do more podcasts like this.
Yes.
They should go, and it should be a range. It should be Lex Friedman style, like intellectual. And then it should be like Logan Paul, like, I don't even know what you would put that category, like fun and entertaining, right? It's going to be like
the Zoomer
anybody
crowd.
can watch a Logan Paul video and go, okay, I would ask that question, right?
Yeah.
Like it's very, very minimal.
You mean ones for dumb people?
What's that? I wouldn't even say as much as that. That would be more so like Ben Shapiro, if you want to watch that. No, I'm just kidding. Roasted here.
I was saying this.
Dude.
Probably more people have an opinion on Kendrick versus, Drake than they do on Fed's policy decisions over the next 12 months.
And honestly, exactly. It's actually would be more. He'd probably get more votes for answering that question than the politics, right? So very interesting. Mike though did ask some really good questions because people don't know he used to be I think it was like heroin or something that he was addicted to for like 8 years. So he wrote a book, and it was actually just cool to see like Trump like pick up the book and like ask him about it. Like he didn't even have to do that in the video. It was interesting. It was a pretty cool show. But either way, guys, let's get to the news today. Boeing Airlines chat. How many of you let's get some W's or L's? Okay, I'm going to just ask you L's or W's for Boeing Airlines. I want to see where you guys feel with this because as it turns out, the FAA investigates another mid-air accident with a Boeing 737. Now, why are these accidents happening and why is this affecting? And I'm going to talk about stocks and crypto in just a second, guys. But I thought this was insane. Okay, this was insane. Let me find the exact article. It's right here. Let me drag it back over. The FAA investigates counterfeit titanium used in some Boeing and Airbus jets. So Boeing Airlines is buying counterfeited titanium. Whether it's on purpose or not, that's going to be in the investigation. But that is why the planes have been actually corroding. There's been corrosion because titanium's not supposed to do that.
Fake metal floating around. What is this, like ancient Rome going on? What's going on here?
Yeah, we're flying around in fake metal. No, you can't. Nothing will happen to you, DZ. You're flying around in a metal tube.
I love Boeing. No, Boeing 787s are always safe. That's what I say.
That's what we all say. We got a lot of L's in the chat for that. I just thought that was insane. I mean, you hear counterfeiting, they're counterfeiting metal parts to increase their profit
I thought
margins.
It was bad enough that
allegedly.
I thought it was bad enough that the honey I buy at the grocery store was fake, but now you're telling me the titanium in my airplanes are fake too. Where does it end?
Well, hopefully we're going to see organic titanium here that meets ESG in the following year. So that was just interesting.
Well, how about some of that fake money that people are talking about? I think it's called crypto. What's going on with crypto?
Bitcoin stuff, that trash, that scam stuff, that's worth nothing. It has no unit of account.
No intrinsic value.
No intrinsic value. No unit of account.
You can't hold the Bitcoin.
Well, that stuff is crushing it right now. So, markets are a little wobbly, all right? I pulled up a few extra. We're going to get a little bit more macro and just learn about what's going on in overall markets because, guys, markets, when they're wobbly in the crypto sector, they're wobbly in the stock market. It's usually because of something that's happening in our traditional finance sector. So stocks slip as markets eye cautious Fed. So why are we stagnant right now? Well, Wall Street's main indexes opened lower on Friday. This was this morning, and with investors pausing after strong rallies on the S&P 500 and the NASDAQ as they weighted hawkish Federal Reserve projections against the backdrop of the cooling economy. Now, I pulled up a bunch of different analysis perspectives on this, and to me, we're in a very weird position in this market. People are betting on, for some reason, they want to see the Feds cut their rates because for whatever reason, they believe that if they cut those rates, it's going to mean markets are going to continue higher. It's
the cost of borrowing will go down, which will spur more car sales and home sales.
Exactly. And the problem with that is when the Feds pivot historically, it's because something breaks in the market. So
they're doing it because it's bad.
Exactly. So you get a huge correction, and then that's when the opportunity presents yourself. You want to be cash heavy. So I pulled up this interview here, not Adobe's here. This was really, really, really interesting. So this is according to a chief economic advisor or investment officer, and she is talking about the effects of rate cuts and rate hikes. Now, I'm going to tell you guys my opinion because there's something I don't think she's accounting for in this afterwards, but this is a very good clip that you should watch with us.
This year and what they have the ability to do from a rate cutting perspective.
Also interested, Megan, just in the near term here, what do you see as potential catalysts ahead for this market, Megan? Is, actually Fed day is now come and gone. Earnings are in the rearview mirror. Near term, what do you see?
I don't see really what any potential upside catalysts are, and that's the problem. That's why we're a little cautious here on the market. I see more catalysts to the downside. You can see from a political standpoint what's going on over in Europe right now. Let's not forget we have a presidential election coming up. The valuations in the market are a bit frothy. We've gotten 1 month of good inflation data, but we still have a long way to go before we can say that that's behind us and the Fed can start a rate cutting cycle.
And so given that, if you're more cautious in the market, sort of how are you expressing that?
Here it is.
We have an overweight cash right now. We're not overweight these tech-heavy growth names or even the sectors. We look within value in the market, but we are an overweight cash in our overall allocation so that we can take advantage of opportunities, because it's been a long time since we've had a correction in this market. We had, you could say, modest pullback this year, but we think we could be in for a correction in the second half of this year.
So with that there, people are probably like, Josh, that wasn't bullish at all. That was depressing. It's no, I wanted to talk kind of about the reality of the situation. Yesterday's stream, I talked about why I'd be looking to position myself to take profits in September, but specifically more towards the election, like the actual outcome in November. The reason for that is historically, every time there's a presidential switch between Republican Party to Democratic Party or Democratic Party to Republican Party, you get a massive drop or pullback or correction within these markets. So what we are seeing here is a chief investment officer admit that they're heavy cash on the sidelines, and they're specifically watching the Russell 2000. They're going to be watching the smaller mid-cap projects, essentially, on the stock market, and look for a correction there where there is a decent amount of opportunity when these Feds do decide to rate cut in the near future. Now, for me, and obviously every analyst, guys, my personal perspective, every analyst out there has different ranges on when this is going to happen. Markets were betting on an interest rate cut as soon as March this year. They didn't get that. We're now only expecting maybe one towards the end of the year. That is my range. And that tells me, I think with the upside here, I deleted the Adobe article, but with Apple Intelligence coming out, with the adoption of now these language assistants within your tech, whether it's services, laptops, etc., I do believe that there can be some significant upside with the retail purchases in that tech sector following this November, following this fall. So I do think we can get even one more rally that is a catalyst from the tech sector that would be beneficial to crypto moving into the end of the year. I would look for a correction there in that beginning of Q1, if not December. I think it's a very interesting outlook no one's wanting to cover right now.
Yeah, no one wants to cover any kind of downside. And, it's kind of saying because you're going to have half the country, if my party wins, we go down. And no one wants to say that. Everyone wants to say, if my party wins, it's good for the markets. And it takes a little self-reflection to say, hey, maybe it would go the opposite way I would want.
Yeah, and that's what at least history shows us. But even with a correction, right, that might be as a trader mentality. Maybe you don't care, right? Maybe you're like, us or, people that have been maybe you've been in the market longer. Maybe you've been holding Bitcoin since $3,000 or, $1,000. For me, the first time I purchased it was at 12K, right? And then even in this last bear market, we dollar cost averaged all the way down to like $18,000, $19,000. So we're in a much different position than a lot of traders that are entering this market. But even if we do get a correction, right? What did she say? She is cash heavy, going to be jumping in on that opportunity, right? So even if there is a massive correction coming up, it might be a good idea to start allocating some cash for those positions, because you have other analysts coming out and raising their Bitcoin price target. Get this, $200,000 by the end of 2025. Woo. Bernstein analysts have raised their price target for Bitcoin. And this is also initiated covered on MicroStrategy stock with an outperform rate targeting a price of $2,190 for MicroStrategy. I don't know what the exact price of that is.
$1,520. I looked it up right now.
Yeah, $1,520. So almost a 2x on MicroStrategy there. The target is driven by expectations of unprecedented demand via spot Bitcoin exchange traded funds run by some of the world's leading asset managers such as BlackRock, Fidelity, and Franklin Templeton, reaching around $190 billion assets in under management compared to $60 billion today. Quantum, not going to pronounce the last name, and Mahika wrote in a note to clients, we believe that the U.S. regulated ETFs were the watershed moment for crypto that brought in structural demand from traditional pools of capital. The analyst wrote, around $15 billion of new net flows have been brought into ETFs combined. We expect Bitcoin ETFs to be equivalent to 7% of Bitcoin in circulation by 2025 and 15% of Bitcoin supply by 2033. So massive bullish price target here for Bitcoin by the end of 2025. Putting that at by 2020, that'd be like I don't know if that'd be their projections, but $350,000 to $500,000 by 2033 if we were to see that amount of adoption from the ETF cycle here. So this is bullish. That is very bullish. So even though, guys, it's okay to risk manage, risk adjust, look at the inflation numbers that are being released. We won't even know if the Feds want to raise it or, not raise, but cut interest rates this year until the next CPI report, right? We need at least 2 to 3 reports before we know the Feds are going to adjust anything. Everything is weighted. They want more information. They need more data. And so if we get an interest rate cut at the end of this year, well, traditionally, unless this follows, it very well could, right? This is the other thing nobody wants to talk about as an analyst. They don't want to talk about 1994 to 2001. When we raised interest rates significantly, we ended up cutting them briefly, but then re-raising them into 2000, 2001 before cutting them and dropping off the face of the earth with the dot-com bubble. Maybe we do enter that type of cycle, right? We won't know these things, and any analyst out there that's pretending to understand that won't know until we have the data points that do roll in. So being prepared for, I think, honestly, a correction, very, 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 very good idea to have at least sideline capital on, right? This is why when we see, if we get a breakout, guys, to $80,000 Bitcoin, to $90,000 Bitcoin, you want to scrape profits off the table, right? You want to be taking 20, 30, 40%, allocating those positions, just like we did at the GTC Summit, just like we accidentally did with the spot Bitcoin ETF in January, right? We were cash heavy on the sideline, allowing us to buy these corrections. And that is what I'm waiting for.
One thing people don't think about, if interest rates go higher, it increases the odds that people will diamond hand their Bitcoin and then borrow against it, because then they will make more money with interest rates being higher. So you can borrow against your house with the mortgage. I think if we get these 9%, 10% mortgage rates, that's when you see people start borrowing against Bitcoin as well, just because it'll be so lucrative and people will step up to do those loans. Like, hey, if you don't pay the loan, I get your Bitcoin. I'll go ahead and back that loan. I'll collateralize that loan.
100% agree. And guys, don't forget, today's show is powered by Arculus, the best cold storage wallet on the market for you guys. One tap, total security. Tap into simple business security and tap into simple Web3 security.
And speaking of tap, how about you tap that like button too,
exactly.
Folks?
Do it, guys, as you guys scroll down to the description below and use code DC10 to get 10% off your Arculus hardware wallet today, guys. On top of this, we have Max Payne is going to be the cycle, Max Payne this cycle has been consolidation. This is what I love to see. So look, I know I honestly bash some people in the comments sometimes. They're coming like, clickbait. And then they just honestly probably never speak again because they're like, oh my goodness, they're like on the couch with their family and then they just get roasted on TV. It must be kind of embarrassing.
Yeah, the kids are pointing and laughing.
They're like, Dad, you just got dogged.
The dog pisses on their leg. The cat swipes at their head.
One could say he's being duked. But what we're looking at here, guys, is the consolidation. Consolidation is Max Payne this cycle. This is what hurts more retailers than anything. They run out of capital to dollar cost average. They more than likely come in at the top, right? It consolidates for weeks. It drops a little bit. And that same retail that bought at that high sell at the bottom. Why? Because they have a emotional approach to the market. They always come in when there's euphoria and they always exit when there is a mass amount of fear. Same thing's happening now, right? When we were at $72,000, $73,000 100 days ago, I had messages from people I hadn't talked to in like a year, 2 years that were like, should I buy Ethereum? Should I buy Bitcoin? They were starting to jump into the market again. Now, it wasn't to the same effect of 2021 when like your Uber drivers, like with nothing wrong with like, driving Uber or anything, but like when you're like out and just casually in society and like people just around you are like, I had an Uber driver in Miami shill me Safe Moon in 2021. Yeah. That to me was like, holy smokes. Like what just a casual conversation. Just, hey, you should didn't even know I was in crypto. Just immediately started shilling me Safe Moon. He's like, this is going to change the world. It's, that is when you're going, okay, market's really, really peakish. Now we've been consolidating, bouncing back between these two ranges. We're creating kind of this head and shoulders pattern we'll talk about in just a moment. But this is when retail gets wiped out. Okay, this is when the institutions that have tons of capital, because you got to remember, guys, there is tons of global liquidity right now. Yes, middle income, the 99%, they are feeling it. Under Joe Biden's administration, honestly, a big FU to this administration. They've hurt the middle class. They said that they're going to build the middle class out. They didn't do that. They took the middle class and consolidated it into even a more consolidated front. Like they were like, we're going to just take more and more of your money. We're going to put it overseas. We're going to hurt you. You guys are going to be, working 2 to 3 jobs. And just anyways, they're going to gaslight you. to the point on that, what you were going to say?
Well, I was
something?
going to say, you're talking about the liquidity is opening up. I don't know if you've seen this chart, the month over month, year over year, or the M2 year over year. This is the amount of money coming into the system. So it's a measure of money supply that includes cash, checking deposits, and non-cash assets. In simpler terms, fresh liquidity is entering the market, which is bullish for crypto. And you can see now we got a little bit of a turnaround.
Yeah, that is incredibly bullish. You also look at the global liquidity index. It's also rising too. M2 money supply, everything is flipping positive. And so
the money machines are printing
they're
again.
printing. So yeah, it's going to benefit the corporations and usually your governments and not the people. But that does go to show that we could have easily another 6 months of upside action. So yes, that is what we're talking about in terms of consolidation. Hurts us with the capitulation. Signs of capitulation. Bitcoin miners are selling at high pace. Reserves at 2 years low. This honestly, historically, when you do watch Bitcoin miners sell, does tend to show that we're going to be near a top. But you also have to realize once miners sell in the historical on-chain like references, once they start to sell, usually you get a parabolic rally afterwards, and they sell into that rally. But I think honestly, over time, as more and more people adopt Bitcoin, as we have these Bitcoin exchange traded products, institutions are involved. The miner sell-offs aren't going to matter as much. Honestly, Bitcoin is still trading inside this major inverse head and shoulders pattern. So right below, there is TA guys out there that says, hey, we can go to, you see, people are saying 60K, people are saying 50K, people are saying 48K again. But you have Jelly out here that shows an inverse head and shoulders pattern, a great TA trader that I followed on Twitter for a very, very long time, but is still, and I'm not on my account, which is why I'm on DZ's account. Maybe we should follow him, but is still trading inside the major inverse head and shoulders pattern, right below all-time highs. Push above $70,000 again, there is no stopping it. So we are still in a very, very bullish pattern. Very bullish
This is what
pattern.
I'm seeing right here. I want to share this. This is, we got to break above this area. And so right now we're kind of trading in a descending megaphone pattern right there. But that was this is daily charts that we're looking at. So this is the descending channel that we're trading in. Is technically bullish. We broke above it. And you can see on the daily, we have not closed a daily candle below this one. So we keep wicking into it, then closing above, wicking into it, closing above. So if we close below this line, I would say that is going to be technically bearish. But I'm not flipping super bullish until we get above this area right here. If it happens in the next few days, $71,450. If it happens quickly, $71,500. If it takes us a while, closer to $71,000. But we need to close a daily candle above this line right here. Then that's when DZ's going bullish.
Yeah, and look, guys, if this is the top of the market, if this truly is the top of the market, which type in 1 in chat. Type 1 in chat if you believe that the top is in, type 2 if you don't. 2 if you don't, 1 if you do. So if you believe that the top is in for Bitcoin, type 1. If you don't, 2.
You believe.
If it ends up being the top of the market, guys, and we go down to 50K, guess what? I will grow a man bun and I will be depressed. I will grow the Gareth man bun.
Gareth has cut his hair.
Yeah.
Gareth cut his hair? That's bullish.
That's kind of bullish. That's kind of bullish. Josh, look at Ando's daily head and shoulders. Knees and toes. Knees and toes. Knees and toes. Well, looking on here, guys, chart of interest, Bitcoin, sometimes the most obvious interpretations of a chart work out. Most of the time, the charts morph. But the most obvious is this. If we break through 65K, guys, the market goes to 60K. If we break through $60,000, the market go to 48K. I don't honestly, I'm sorry, Peter Brantz. I'm sorry. But like, this is the same exact thing people were saying when we broke 60K the first time and we went to $57,000 and everybody's like, no, sell. I'm not buying until this happens. And then it goes back up to 72K and everybody was like, oh, yikes.
Yeah, little fake out washout there.
Little fake out washout, exactly. A lot of twos. I drank a lot of Joshua Stack's Kool-Aid and I feel like I'm throwing up. What? Kool-Aid, bro? That's not mine. That's some moldy Kool-Aid in the freezer or something.
Here, I have a live look at the back of his head there. So you see no more pony knot. Yeah, it's gone.
Is he bullish now?
Big shout out. Look, he opens shorts, he opens longs. He closes his trades sometimes.
Oh, I know. I love it. But when you're going to be capo, you're going to be capo.
People
you gotta
think like, oh, he has a short open from 40K. Like, no, he doesn't.
No, he's just known as the short. You got to play into it. You just got to play into it. It's like Jim Cramer. I mean, look at Jim. Jim Cramer's had a lot of great trades in his life. That's why he is where he is. But people are like, nah, reversing Cramer. Like, you got to play into it.
Let's just say that man, Jim Cramer, does 250 episodes a year. I'm just kind of throwing out a number. Say he threw out 4 picks every episode. He does 1,000 stock picks. Oh yeah, he's gonna have some losers.
Yeah,
100%.
And meanwhile, he's gonna be with your mother. That's what's going to happen. Yeah. He's gonna be with your mother.
Jim.
Oh, no, Jim. Did you saw that image? He's with the Iggy.
Yeah. He was
Bro was with the Iggy here. W's in the chat for Kramer. Let's see it, guys. Honestly, man pulls your mother. That's actually wild. Bitcoin total liquidation charts showing longs are getting liquidated 7-1 right now. Guys, stop trying to max leverage to the upside right now, guys.
From
You're just
Marty
gonna get
Party.
in the consolidation. But speaking of that, let's actually go ahead and pull up the Bitcoin liquidation maps here.
We like Marty Party, by the way. That
Marty
account.
Party?
Yeah, I show Marty Party stuff all the time.
Yeah.
Marty Party.
Did you see we actually joined his space while we were live on Blockchain Basement and we're just talking to him live on his space. And then he was watching our show.
Who?
Marty Party.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty funny.
Y'all number ones need to sell and go hibernate.
Hitting it for the
Manowalk.
bears. Yeah.
Go sell and hibernate. Yeah, guys. So looking at the liquidations here, we are stuck between the battle of the bulls and the bears. We're stuck at 65 to 68K. Okay, on the daily. That's what's happening right now. We're trying to find new support. This does look like we can turn this into a double bottom. 7 days is what matters, right? It is favoring the bulls right now. So we have liquidations all the way up to 70,600. There is liquidations down to 65,800 here. But again, we're starting to favor those bears more, or the bulls more than the bears here. Moving on to high block here. I got to pull up all these here because I forgot to here today. But click on this, hit OK. We're going to go to products, liquidation levels, and heat map. Let's see where the delta spread is, right? Remember, when it's in the red, what do? Usually dollar cost average. And look at how bad this red is, okay? It is a sea of red on the delta spread, guys, okay?
Wow, that's a rhyme.
Yeah, sea of red here. We're at a negative 10, negative 11 billion, and then he spread those red seas like he spread... you're going to be looking at, yes, potentially, guys, a double bottom forming right here. Remember, last time we had this delta spread, we had a massive liquidation wipeout here, right? And we had another form here. So this is honestly something that could play out similarly to this and gives us that nice little Kim K tush right there. So that's what we want to see, guys. We want to see a double bottom take place here and want to hold this support. If we do not, we're probably going to see some more downside. But again, when I'm looking at liquidations, we're in a consolidation period, and the people that win during consolidation are market makers. They're going to be just jumping prices between two liquidity ranges and wiping out retail most effectively. We have a massive zone here all the way up towards about $69,500 or so, maybe 71K. That is somewhere around these ranges here. It's actually 71,000, right? That's 71K on the dot. I do expect that windshield wiper method to move to the upside here. The other thing I want to look for here is going to be your Bitcoin liquidation maps. So if we're going to the liquidation map and we're looking at the heat map here, you're going to notice, guys, look at the last 24 hours, okay? We have way more liquidation stacking up above us, even though there is some below us, right? We're in this period of consolidation. We're bouncing between these two ranges. So it's going to go one direction or the other. But when you zoom out to the 3-day or to the weekly, you're going to notice that there is way more liquidity above us than there is below us. So I think we're honestly still going to see some more upside action in these markets. I don't think we're going to go to 60K first. I could be wrong. I could be 100% wrong. But traditionally, I follow signals. I use these liquidations, and they're pretty accurate. So even if it's only 80, 90% of the time, a lot of the time. You know?
And not only that, we're in a bullish period, within the 4-year cycle. And the longer the consolidation goes, I want to say the more likely it goes to the upside versus the downside. Now, because if we just have a 2-day consolidation, yeah, we go ahead and flesh out some people, drop $10,000. But we've been trading sideways for so long, I feel like, the bullish bias probably is going to take over.
I 100% agree. 100% agree. Now, this is an interesting chart. The economy is a 80-year oscillation with a 6 to 7 year sin wave cycle of liquidity with a 4-year Bitcoin cycle inside of it. What this looks like is liquidity is now re-entering this market. We actually would have more upside moving into 2024. This is where you're going to get that blow off top, so to speak. And looking at mid 2025 is if you're looking at the global liquidity index, it is all the way to 1970. So since we came off the gold standard, guys, ever since we opened this up, this is what the liquidity does. And the markets tend to do the same thing every 6 to 7 years. Every 6 to 7 years. Now, in the 1990s, you get kind of pretty much as only upside to the dot-com bubble, but then it's still, the liquidity follows it back and forth pretty well in these markets. So this is interesting. If this is true and does follow like it has throughout all of history, we're looking at a blow off top sometime in Q4 this year, if not 2025.
All right.
Interesting perspective.
Yeah, it is interesting how it kind of coincides that. But yeah, going in with the extra liquidity plus the 4-year cycle, hopefully gives us a really good bull run.
Hopefully. We're going to be looking at Hong Kong spot ETF secure $1.96 billion in Bitcoin, 26 million in Ether, Yes, Bitcoin.news we don't use anymore because they have the worst ads in the world. But ultimately, they are seeing a huge inflows in the ETFs, guys. 35 and 35. We predicting ETFs are likely to reach $35 trillion in assets globally by 2035. That is triple from 13 trillion today. This is coming from Eric Balchunas on Twitter. This is based on 10% CAGR. Past decade was 17%. Decade before was 25%, which is arguably fairly modest because market returns likely less great. Their low cost, intraday liquid, tax efficiency, flexibility, etc. will continue to attract investor cash and traders volume, which will result in more new products, innovative designs, and more salespeople. Guys, let me know what altcoin you think is going to be getting the next ETF. A lot of people are saying Solana. I think it could very well even be a Dogecoin.
Litecoin. I hear people say Cardano and Polkadot. Solana, a little bit unlikely, but I could definitely see, me and Nick talking about this, could easily be Litecoin. Honestly, you could see a Bitcoin Cash before maybe some of these.
Yeah.
That is disgusting.
Well, look at the Grayscale Trust.
It's so true.
See what they are. Because that's kind of what drives the market. Like
that is true.
Litecoin is their third biggest holding. There is a question in chat, well, more of a comment. And Josh, I think you should key in on this. Matthew Newhouse says, I like your vids. However, there's nothing bullish about this market. Why is this market, but why is he wrong? Respectfully. Why is he wrong?
Well, respectfully, anybody that says it's bullish or bearish out there right now are just both wrong. I think there's too many things happening on a macro. There's way too many things happening from a macro perspective right now. One, we're watching an entire traditional financial sector tokenize itself, which is something we've never seen been done before, and it's in the history of life. The other thing is we have a tech sector that people claim to be in a bubble, but they don't understand, one, what it means to just break Moore's law. The technological advancements that are taking place are way faster than anybody understands. I mean, there's two sides of this. There's a bear case where artificial intelligence becomes so powerful right now, and we're not even at ASI yet. Wait till we have super intelligence. We're at the point where, imagine, and this was actually brought up by Donald Trump in the Logan Paul interview, and it makes a lot of sense. Imagine if an AI tool and someone leaked to mainstream media in Russia or in China or something and displayed on their televisions, Donald Trump or Joe Biden saying, hey, we've sent 12 nuclear missiles towards your country. You have 12 minutes to live before this hits us and impacts us. There's 12 minutes. The amount of panic that can be incited from that could cause really big issues.
Yeah.
Really.
What if there's a sub off the coast of Florida that's 12 seconds?
12 seconds. Oh, exactly. So the thing is like no matter what, it's even though it's fake, it can be perceived as a reality, and that could affect markets. It actually could. That's a huge thing people don't want to admit. But there's the opposite side of this, where maybe we create guidelines and everybody's using AI properly. Well, let's be real; they're going to be absorbing a lot of data. But there is the exponential growth factor to this. So as our demographics and not just the United States, around the world, guys, demographics are declining. The birth rates around the globe are not so hot. I think one of the only countries that is dominating in birth rates is Mexico. Mexicans are just breeding, and it's awesome. Keep doing it. They have some big things coming for them.
Growing up in a Mexican trailer park, I can double down on that take. They like having babies.
They work hard. You know what I'm saying? But what you're looking at is if you're going to have a declining population, it means we have to have an advancement in tech, and there's going to be a transfer of wealth. So what I would be looking for long term is that tech sector, that tokenization sector. That is 100% going to dominate. In the near term, saying, okay, well, what's a bullish catalyst? A bullish catalyst, for example, could be Apple Intelligence. It could be the fact people are like, oh, tech sectors have peaked. Well, now that we're integrating all this AI, it means all of the previous generations, iOS 14 and minus, the same thing with your Google phones more than likely. All these people are now going to need to upgrade. They're going to need new services, right? Because if they don't, these companies and people, guys, are going to get outpaced by the competitors that are utilizing that AI. So that's an entire revenue boost that could come into Q4, if not Q1 of 2025. So that's one bullish catalyst. Mm-hmm. Another bullish catalyst is, becoming. I want to talk about politics because we won't know more until those rates take place. But is the presidential election? If we have a president that comes in and is like, hey, this might happen at the end of this month, by the way, in the debate. We're
12 days away, I believe. It's
12 days away.
Or 27, 12 or 13 days away.
And if Trump comes out and says hey, we're going to back the United States dollar by 1% in Bitcoin or something. Imagine if he says anything of that value. That is another catalyst that can move these markets. But you have the opposite effect, right? There's also the bearish case and the bearish news. So right now, I do think there is still more upside. I think we're not going to get a rate cut until the end of the year, if not Q1 of 2025. that means we can have another 3, 4, 5 months of upside in these markets. But I would prepare for a correction sometime in that range where I want to accumulate. I hope that answers the question.
Yeah. And Snowcone, yes, we often have subs. I think it was the testing of weapons that had people freaked out. That was a little different and unique.
Oh, and also I'd say the last bullish catalyst is the liquidity that is entering the markets. There's a lot of money starting to open up to these markets right now. Global liquidity is up, empty money
4
supply,
years from now,
everything's
we
printing.
have 10 billion Tesla robots increasing our productivity equal to 20 billion humans.
We'll have Apple robots by 2030 and Tesla. We'll have a full range. You're going to have you can for $14,000 you can order a private chef. And that robot's going
I'm going to have my Tesla robot leverage trade accounts to zero.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Well, JP
and then
Morgan,
I'll counter trade them.
You'll counter trade them. JP Morgan, guys, is skeptical of $12 billion year-to-date crypto inflows will continue. This makes me bullish. It just makes me bullish. JP Morgan's been wrong about crypto. So anytime JP Morgan comes out and goes, we're
They're
skeptical.
buying in the background here. That's what's happening.
100%. They told you not to buy at 3K, 4K, 5K, 6K, 7K, 8K, 9K, all the way up to $65,000. And then they're like, you know what? Actually, this stuff is real. This stuff, now you should enter it. We should have an ETF or something. Justin Fidelity's director of global macro says Bitcoin is exponential gold. Okay, well, one of your largest asset managers in the company says that we're going to be compared to gold, which is a 10x from Bitcoin's price today. Think about that. A 10x from Bitcoin's price today. Just think about that. On-chain analyst unveils Bitcoin price target, says Bitcoin now competitive to gold market cap. Again, another comparison to gold here. We have blue-collar Bitcoin. But if we believe that Bitcoin is competitive with gold, how many gold bars are there per Bitcoin at terminal velocity?
Are we counting Gold Bar Menendez's suit jackets?
No. I don't think so. I think it has to be an actual brick.
Okay.
Yeah. But hey, we'll try it. It's about 10.8 kilograms. So what's the price target for Bitcoin? Well, it's at least 10.8 kilograms of gold. And if you work out that math, it's like $1.2 million Australian gold. Or Australian dollars are $803,000 USD.
I tell you one thing I love about this $803,000 range is because every time gold and Bitcoin had parity there. I remember back when it was like 420K, then it was 500K, then it was 600K. Now it's 800K. So as they print more money, gold becomes more valuable. And so I do think Bitcoin will catch up with gold eventually. But by the time we catch up with gold, we might be from a $16 trillion market cap to a $30 trillion market cap. And then at that point, you're looking at $1.6 million Bitcoin.
Yeah, and if you guys are starting to be shaken out of your portfolios, right? Here's what one of the richest Bitcoiners in the world, has to say about,
Katy Perry?
Bitcoin. Looks kind of like Katy Perry. A little bit of a mixture between Katy Perry and Soulja Boy. Going to be Michael Saylor. Right on the dot there. Here you go.
Does your faith ever get shaken, especially during these very volatile periods where Bitcoin has had a steep sell-off?
No, in my entire career, I've never seen anything as compelling and unstoppable as Bitcoin. I'm extraordinarily enthusiastic. There are 8 billion people on the planet that need digital property, and Bitcoin is the dominant digital property network. So if you zoom out and you ask the question, how are you going to provide economic prosperity to billions of people at the speed of light over a computer network? There's no better idea than Bitcoin.
Does your faith ever get shaken?
Boom, dude.
Especially
Didn't even stutter. Didn't even stutter there, guys. Bitcoin is falling to 48K. Bitcoin bull run is over. Cutest girls with the ugliest attitude is what that is right there. Guys, give us your Bitcoin price predictions. Is Bitcoin top in? Is it not? Where do you guys see Bitcoin going to?
Jake Claver said that was
in 2024.
Forever, potentially.
Oh, we think there's
74 or whatever.
74 was the top of Bitcoin forever.
He said that might be the top at least this cycle.
Wow. Who's that one? Jake Claver?
Jake Claver, yeah. XR people.
Oh, well,
it's unrelated, okay?
No,
him liking XRP and having a bearish take on Bitcoin is unrelated.
Saying that's unrelated is watching two cousins get married.
Okay.
They're related.
Shout out to West
They're
Virginia.
related.
I joke.
Okay, we're just having fun, guys. It's a Friday. It's a Friday. How many Bitcoin billionaires are there? Many of Bitcoin's early adopters are now billionaires, among the wealthiest people in the world. But Satoshi Nakamoto's wealth could eclipse them all. The meteoric growth, we know this, guys. There's a lot of billionaires holding Bitcoin at this point now. You got Tim Draper worth $2 billion. He invests into almost everything. Michael Novogratz, he's worth $2.5 billion. You have Tyler and Cameron Winklevoss, $2.7 billion. Jed McCaleb selling off all of his XRP, $2.9 billion.
All right, scroll back up to Tyler and Cameron.
Yeah.
Do you think they ever like get a ledger with like a Bitcoin on it and throw it in between two homeless people?
No.
That is mean.
That's just what they look like. I'm sorry.
They just like laugh in their like rich sector of New York. Like
they like break one of the oars from their canoes
Yeah.
and like, toss it on the ground like the Joker.
That's interesting take there. Matthew Rozak, 3.1. Jean-Louis Vandervelde, 3.9 billion, and Paolo, 3.9 billion, who is the CEO of Tether, I believe, still today. Michael Saylor, $4.8 billion. And Satoshi Nakamoto is worth $76.67 billion. Satoshi Nakamoto is worth $76.67 billion. I would just like to take the back 0.67 there. Please just let us know, Satoshi here. Bank of America, bullish crypto pivot continued. 49 maps depicting the trends that shape tomorrow's investment zeitgeist. I've even GG's to that one. Crypto is no longer simply a speculative hedge against a loss of trust in government, monetary, and financial institutions. The technology is a legitimate disruptor. Well, that's Bank of America for you. Your banks are adopting crypto faster than ever, and they're using it because, guys, crypto is fractional banking 2.0. It's the superior tech. Interest rate cut explanations from former Fed vice chairman. This will happen despite Fed statements. Alan Blinder, a former vice chairman of the Federal Reserve and currently a professor at Princeton University, shared his views on the Fed's monetary policy direction for 2024 in a recent interview. He argued that the Fed maintains its tendency to reduce interest rates and that interest rates may be reduced twice this year. Blinder dismissed the idea of the Fed raising interest rates as fantasy and said it was no longer a possibility. Evaluating the steps taken in the past, Blinder claimed that the Fed was influenced by its previous hesitations about immediately increasing interest rates, which caused inflation to be higher than expected. The lingering memory continues to influence the Fed's cautious approach, according to him. So we're looking at maybe 2 interest rate cuts by the end of this year.
Maybe.
Here is Janet Yellen talking about the labor market.
A question about where we really are in the journey on taking inflation down. There were some good signs, but there's still parts of the economy that still are hot.
Well, we're creating jobs at a very rapid pace, but at the same time, the unemployment rate has drifted up a little bit. It's still extremely low in historic terms, more or less the lowest in 50 years. But the labor market has become a little less hot, a little bit more normal. The number of job openings has declined some. We've had a burst in labor force participation. And so the labor market now is resembling what it looked like pre-pandemic. Right. Wages are increasing, but at a slower rate. And so that doesn't really look like it's a threat to inflation. A substantial part of the inflation we still have, inflation has come down dramatically, but a substantial part has to do with the housing market.
So let's get this in chat, guys. 1 in the chat if you like Janet Yellen. 2 in the chat if you think she is one of the worst U.S. Treasury secretaries we've ever had, and we're completely wrong about transitory inflation. If you guys remember that. Transitory inflation, remember that? Remember COVID? Remember all that? Remember that? Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't forget, Janet. Emperor Palpatine. Yeah, I don't forget.
Her 4-year stint was 2014 to 2018, and then she stepped down February 3rd, 2018. So yeah, she was the Fed chairman.
Transitory for 4 years. Yes. I'm gonna not make that joke. We're gonna transition.
Move on.
We're gonna transition. Not
snip that joke out of here.
Pull me out.
Yeah, cut it.
Cut it. We're cutting. Coinbase says middlemen charging small businesses too many fees amid launch of new initiative. Leading U.S.-based crypto exchange Coinbase has launched a new initiative aimed at introducing crypto as an alternative payment system for small businesses. I'm not spending any of my crypto. New Mark Cuban tells attendees at Coinbase's State of Crypto event that he's telling senators, governors, and representatives that the problem for American crypto companies is the SEC registration process. Cuban calls this a uniquely American Gary Gensler problem. I actually completely agree. Some people don't like Mark Cuban. A lot of people do like Mark Cuban, but he's 100% right in this scenario.
I saw a tweet saying Mark Cuban wishes he was 20 years younger so he could fight all these crypto influencers. Nick, you had a take on him too, right?
On Mark Cuban?
Yeah, it was I remember now. What is he?
Yeah, it's just
no, we're talking about Ryan Selkis.
Oh, that's right.
Mark Cuban,
it's 2 different combos.
What I like to say, he's the billionaire dad.
Billionaire dad. He has dad energy.
He's got total dad energy. I think he's just having fun, and people like.
Now, is he the hip dad or the slightly out of touch, didn't know his son was smoking weed in the laundry room dad?
No, he's the dad that I think would find his kid smoking, weed, and they'd be like, dude, why don't you just use a pipe?
Okay. I thought you were going to say like steal his stash or something.
No, I don't. I think he's just like the cool dad. Like I guarantee you, like those kids' parties are like lit. Maybe not. Maybe I'm completely misreading this, but no, I think this is somebody that's, dude. Imagine your dad owns a basketball team. Like that is such a sick life. Like I'm gonna be that guy. Like that's pretty cool. Like you just get home plate seats. You're meeting every single player. You're probably really into the NBA at that point. That's kind of legit here. Elon Musk's concerns too many. Someone in chat's going to be like, he's too rich. We need to tax him. Elon's actually probably not on our channel, but Elon Musk concerns too many regulations, limit innovation. This is a fact, guys. Like, I don't know what it is with like social communists that are just like, we need to limit everything and tax everything and put in all these rules and regulations. Well, guess what, guys? Once you do that, all of the money will leave the US. It's pretty simple. Okay. It's not the only country in the world. Oh, we're the greatest country in the world. Yeah, there are another 150, 190, how many? 196 countries in the world?
It depends on who you ask. There's things like Taiwan and, there's things I can't say out loud.
There's 3 countries. We own the entire East
It's roughly 195, give or take a few. Yeah.
195, depending on whether you're a part of the G7 or not, is what I would say. Yeah, guys, there is so many countries out there. The innovation will be pushed out of the United States. And unless you're a communist that thinks you can regulate the entire world, that's not going to happen. Okay, it's not going to happen. Breaking, it's official. Elon Musk compensation package approved by Tesla shareholders. What's this?
Finally, our stockholders have approved the ratification of the 100% performance-based stock option award to Elon Musk that was approved by stockholders in 2018.
Wait, is this his company cheering for him?
Yeah.
Are these all of the thousands of employees that they employ?
Shareholders, at least, right?
The shareholders
meeting.
Shareholders meeting. So all of their investors are happy.
Yeah, I would be too. I mean, technically, I'm a Tesla shareholder. I mean, but not by with any weight or anything. I would approve it if I would have bothered to vote.
Interesting. Well, why it's interesting is now I'm going to refrain from this. I think we're running gray area on YouTube guidelines today. Okay. So I don't know. What do you guys think about this? You guys +1 in the chat for Elon. 0 in the chat if you don't like him. I think he's honestly a good for the world. I do. I think like the innovations they've done. I mean, you can go from SpaceX to Starlink to everything. I think there's a lot of innovation and breakthroughs they've pushed through, but they've gone full mask off. This is coming from Edward Snowden. Check this out, chat. This is gross. This is gross. They've gone full mask off. Do not ever trust OpenAI. I'm going to use their product every single day or its products. There is only one reason for appointing an NSA director to your board. This is a willful, calculated betrayal of the rights of every person on Earth. You have been warned. Yeah, I 100% agree. This guy is a snake, dude. This guy right here, full blown snake. Like he's got like a little snake tongue, right? That is.
He doesn't have horns.
This is terrible. You have Larry Summers, a former NSA, the former NSA director, all on top of your board on a product that's now going to be integrated into every Apple device on the planet.
Here's the truth. It is too powerful for the CIA to not have it under its control. That's full period point blank.
Yeah, it's too...
There you go. Enough said.
It's
Same
true.
as Google.
Everything's controlled. And if you don't think it is, guys, it just is. This is why blockchain's important. Yeah. It's why blockchain's important.
Just like Google, it is captured. That's expected.
Like, dude, this is just like the all-star team, though. When I see this, I'm like, man, how is ASI...
You're talking about with Danny DeVito? Space Jam All-Star Team?
No, not quite that one.
Not
No, that
Muggsy
one's
Bogues and
no Bugs Bunny. No, not quite that. But anyways, I digress. CFTC Chair Rostin Benem tells the Senate agency can handle greater crypto responsibility. We all know this, guys. We need to see better regulation, and it's going to take years and years and years of training these people to letting them even understand what tokenization is. New POTUS has just announced his intention to renominate Democrat SEC Governor Commissioner Caroline Crenshaw to a second term at the agency. Another nail in Biden's fake pro-crypto coffin. Yeah, so Biden's coming out trying to gaslight Americans. Oh, we're actually pro-crypto. He's actually trying to reinstate the same people. He's the person that put Gary Gensler in his position. He's bringing the same people that were against crypto, that created anti-crypto armies like Elizabeth Warren. Yeah, he wants to keep them in place, guys. There is no Biden America that is good for crypto. And if you guys are still trying to defend that somehow, I'm sorry, I don't know. Make sure you smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, because this is where your real news is. We have Ethereum ETFs should be fully approved by September, says SEC Chair Gary Gensler. This is my guideline right here, dude. Like, again, September. I don't know what it is about September. other than the fact that is when there's markets expecting those rate hikes, right? So if we're looking at the Fed Watch tool, this is the most important website you guys need right now. Okay, besides FOMO.io, which I'll show you in a second. 47 days, 2 hours and 36 minutes. We are looking at September being a 62% chance, actually more than that. It's about a 70% chance we get our first rate cut in September. This is going to be based off the inflation data. We will know more. This will change dramatically with the next CPI report and PPI report coming out in July for June. So this is the kind of idea area where I'm like, all right, I might want to look to take profits, because the moment we get that first rate cut, I believe we are going to get a correction in those tech stocks. You'll see 3 to 4 months of downside action if they go repetitively back to back inflation, interest rate cuts. That is why I made that video last night. I was like, this makes sense. And by the way, guys, it doesn't make me a bear. It just goes, I want to be cash heavy to take advantage of a correction opportunity, because after that, I want to buy that correction, right? That everybody will be like down 60, 70, 90% of the portfolios. I want to buy that correction. I think it's not going to be, I think this bull run's different.
Yeah, you're not long-term bearish. You're just seeing a buying opportunity on the horizon.
Exactly.
And you want to take advantage of it to have more crypto.
Exactly.
How dare you?
How dare I?
Well, speaking of, hey, we got Bird. What do you guys think Ondo can hit peak bull run? I know we have a Ondo story just a few articles away. I don't know if you want to look at that.
Almost there. Getting through all the senator stuff. Vanek filed for first spot ETF in May 2021. That was crazy. That was a long time ago. Here's our Ondo. Ondo's trading volume surges 300%, outpaces other DeFi tokens. Ondo's trading volume surged in May, signaling heightened on-chain activity and sustained market interest, according to data from In the Block. The on-chain transaction volume of Ondo, guys, in chat, let me know if you hold Ondo. Where's my Ondo holders? Fire emojis in chat if you hold Ondo, because you guys made one of the best trades over the last 3 months. Shout out to everybody that got into Ondo here. It's up over 300% since May, indicating significant on-chain activity. Ondo consistently maintained the highest transaction volume throughput that period compared to cryptocurrencies like Maker, Pax Gold, Maple, and Goldfinch, which are going to be also
So
RWA
what is your
plays.
price target? I'll go ahead and get mine. I don't think it hits 10. I think we can get around a $6.90. I think it
like
tops out near
that.
a $20 billion market cap puts it around the $7-8 range.
I said a 10x at 70 cents.
Okay, so we're kind of coming in
$5 to $7, I think, within that range. I think is very, very, very possible. To someone that said there's a head and shoulders pattern, I don't see a head and shoulder pattern at all on this.
Crypto too. Why hasn't ETF money made a significant change in the crypto markets? It did. It just started in January. Now we're 5 months later, so it's kind of played out a little bit. But I would say we're significantly ahead in the 4-year cycle due to the January influx of cash.
By the way, if you're not bullish on Ondo, I'm going to show you something. We've been tracking this every single day. Guess what the treasuries market's at right now?
I forget. What was it? It was like 1.1 or something. I can't remember.
It was 1.4 for the last 2 weeks. Today, 1.57 billion.
Moving on up.
1.57. It is up and to the right, guys. So while markets are down and to the right, we are up and to the right on these markets. Look at Ondo. We broke 1,000 holders, up 13%, guys. Up 13% from 30 days ago. I mean, every product is growing significantly here. And they now have like literally $500 million in TVL. I don't know if you guys knew this, but if you go to Ondo Finance, go to their website, check this out. We have, I went to the actual OUSG. Let's go to just the finance page. TVL is now 327 million on their USDY, another 220 million on their OUSG. So they have over $550 million in TVL with under a $2 billion market cap. Ondo is a blue chip. It's one of the most bullish products I am on this market.
BlackRock likes it and has good metrics when you look at TVL to market cap. There's someone, I'm not going to walk around with some other dude's name on my forehead. Hit them likes. They're talking about the X. But speaking of names on a forehead, I don't know if you guys saw this. Little Pump just add Solana to his forehead right there. I don't know if you remember, he had some songs that were famous back in the day. He kind of fell off. Now that's him.
Bro is ugly, man. These altcoins projects have raised the most capital in 2024. Check this one out. Largest altcoin fundraises. Barachain. What's Barachain? I don't even know what this is, dude. Barachain. Another project is Eigenlayer, secured $100 million in funding.
These are all going to be VC pump and
dumps. They're all VCs, man.
Mostly, I want to say, not all.
Most of them are going to be VCs here. I'm really just into tokenized markets right now. I think that's just one of the most bullish narratives. The graph removes trading wheels, completing transaction to a decentralized data layer. Graph is getting a major update here. That's pretty bullish. Bitcoin layer 2's TVL soars above $2 billion. You guys are fading. Bitcoin, you guys are like, what's happening to Ordi Swap? Why don't you talk about it? Talk about it every day, guys. These projects, Runes Protocol, all just like 1 to 2 months old. Runes Protocol launched at the top of the market at the Bitcoin halving, right? Yeah. It is a baby.
Created the top.
It's very well. So it's like, this is something that's maturing as a sector, but you also have meme coins that are worth like $1 billion now. So there's a lot of value in that market, guys, and I'm still incredibly bullish on it in the longevity.
C-grade rapper. He's going to hell. All right. No one likes Lil Pump, right? I never liked him. I never liked him.
It's not Little. Is it Little Pump?
Lil Pump.
I thought Lil Pump is dead.
No, that's Lil
Tekashi
Xan.
6ix9ine.
And Tekashi. Lil Xan died.
Lil Xan. There's a couple questions in TikTok. Can Ondo go below $1? And is it too late to buy Ondo or not?
I wouldn't say it's too late at $1.20. It can go below $1, but those type of days, I just buy more.
It was a little peep that passed away in 2017.
Little peep, little pump.
Yeah.
I just like Lil Wayne.
I want big pump, big massive pump, please.
Yeah.
The Solana Apple Pay debit card is here. Wow, Solana coming here. Soul Card, the Solana Apple Pay debit card. Interesting.
I don't like the name Soul Card.
Soul Card.
Brought to you by Shang Tsung. Like, I don't want this.
Can
I get Shang Tsung on the card?
What about Soul Calibur?
Soul Calibur is actually cool. Yeah, Soul
Guys,
Calibur.
plus one in the chat for Soul Calibur.
Yeah, remember they had where you could play as Link on GameCube. How awesome was it playing as Link in Soul Calibur?
That was incredible. Like one of the best fighting games of all time, Soul Calibur. Did you ever play any of the fighting games, Josh?
I played like most Mortal Kombats.
Okay. Most Mortal Kombats. Did you play the most recent one with?
That's the only one. I haven't played the brand new one, but I played pretty much like Mortal Kombat.
Okay.
3, 4 through 10. X was the last one.
Who's your go-to character?
Sub-Zero.
Yeah.
For sure. Sub-Zero.
Ice in the veins, everybody.
Yeah, it's just he's cracked in X, but it changes every single season every single game because there's always metas. There's always something shifting. The DLC characters. It's always the DLC characters that end up being cracked online too. It's like they're just like unfair. We had a Predator. When Predator came out in X, dude, there was like a broken glitch for a while. Just things like that. But anyways, I sold my soul. Marry me. Okay, if we have to. Fear and Greed Index, guys, 36 today. If you guys haven't used FOMO.io, guys, make sure you go check this out. But I did want to check the 4 hour. I just wanted to see where we're at. We're still in the orange, guys. And I want to remind you guys, what do we do in the orange? I like the DCA. In the red, I like to buy heavy. In the green, I like to hodl. And in the dark green, we like to take profits or sell, right? This is where you want to take those profits. People are like, Josh says to take profits every day. Because take those profits. You forget every single day. Annotate burning 40% of the supply. Check this out.
Burn it.
How much did he burned $100
million.
Yeah, over $100 million.
This is legit.
I mean, that is pretty legit. Now, I know like it's illiquid. He wouldn't pull out $100 million if he hit sell all. He's still burning
$110 million.
Still burning damn near $100 million.
Yeah,
pretty good now.
He's top G.
Tokens.
Kind of is.
He is the top.
I feel like I'm that guy.
You are that guy.
I feel like I've done something legendary which will never be repeated and has never been done before.
It will be repeated.
I feel like, once again, Tristan, as you quite pertinently pointed out earlier in this podcast, that it was our spirit of brotherhood that we've brought to the world and young men working together. I feel like, once again, we've changed the world.
Top G, dude. No one else could do that. No one else could literally get $110 million in their portfolio and just burn it like that.
Yeah, afterwards,
I don't know who
Top
else could
G
do it.
was still happy enough to be seen dancing.
I think the only person that could do this,
he's got moves.
Dude, Top G, that is a $100 billion burn. That is Burning Man with Andrew Tate. No, dude, the only person I think that could honestly like raise that much and burn it would be Donald Trump. I think he's the only one that'd be able to like, dude, $110 million worth.
Yeah, I would say maybe Kanye, but I don't even think Kanye would do that. Ronaldo, maybe Ronaldo.
They just don't have the personalities that would do it, though.
Yeah.
You know, so like I don't know. That's some Top G shit right there. This $4 million Wu-Tang NFT albums go on sale for $1. Don't care. That's who cares about NFTs? Yep, one of one Wu-Tang album is now an NFT, guys.
Yeah, that was kind of famous because he bought the famous album that, he bought it from people so no one else could listen to it. And it was actually featured in one of the movies about scammers. I can't remember. But yeah, he was like in there, like showing his Manhattan elites, like, yeah, haha, I bought the Wu-Tang album so no one else can listen to it. And then you have like listener parties. It's
really?
the Pharma Bro. The Pharma Bro bought it.
Now it's
Martin
now it's
Shkreli.
worth $1.
Well, a company bought it, then they ended up fractionalizing it and selling it as an NFT.
Gotcha. Rosenberg Bridge, an open source protocol for cross-chain asset transfers. Shout out, Nick, did you want to tell us a little bit about this?
Yeah, so this is, and you're going to be really interested in this. So this is Rosenbridge. It's an open source bridge protocol that uses the Ergo platform to put Bitcoin assets on Cardano. So this is opening up the entire Cardano ecosystem to Bitcoin via Ergo. It is incredibly bullish, not just for Ergo, not just for Cardano, but for Bitcoin. So,
Charles is excited. A lot of people are excited. It's adding a little bit more functionality similar to Ethereum on Cardano, but now we still need a good stablecoin.
The interesting,
still far behind Ethereum.
The interesting thing with, Interesting thing with Ergo is it has far more security protocols built into it. There's a lot more ZK stuff.
Yeah.
And again, it's one of the most decentralized proof of work coins out there.
And it does a lot of things, moves faster than Cardano would when it comes to, adding things like a Bitcoin bridge.
Yeah. You can think of it as like an Arbitrum to Cardano.
I don't hate that comparison. Yeah. A testing grounds kind of, not technically, but that's what it's kind of seen as.
Yeah.
George Martinez, Josh, will you do it? Guys, if I could raise $100 million, for example, if let's say Duke goes to $1 billion market cap, I would burn it. I totally would. But I don't have the pull like Andrew Tate. So it would take some time to get there. But speaking of Duke, guys, it is at a 10 mil market cap again. That dip got eaten up, baby. A little bit of announcements. I have an exchange call at 12 o'clock for the community.
Ooh.
And again, everything's community driven completely. So if you guys want to go get listed and everything, it's up to everybody. This is for everybody. So we're not paying to get listed or anything like that. But I do want to do a really big partnership with them. We have a couple other partnership calls too. If you guys have partnerships, try to figure it out. Try to reach out, guys. But number 3 is there is a teaser that might come out today that I can't tell you about yet because I need, devs.
Can you give us a clue? A hint?
I could say that this is going to change the entire meme coin game. That is your hint. The teaser that I would be able to drop today is going to make you guys realize the power of mindshare.
You got Iggy Azalea's baby daddy, Playboy Cardi here.
Iggy Azalea, one more time.
Mother's baby daddy.
Yes.
Is he going to be involved?
Look, we don't need mothers. Look, we don't need Duke doesn't need an OnlyFans to make money, right? We don't need that.
You don't got to show the Duke hole.
We don't have the Duke hold. Also, we aren't weird and going to make you call his daddy, right? Because Duke is king. Dude goes down on your mother and takes out the dad.
So
right?
you ask us to kneel?
You kneel before.
All right, guys,
kneel
I'm
before the
show.
king.
We're
before the
the
king,
show
guys.
right now.
Kneel
Here comes the music.
Shibaduki.
5 Bitcoin.
Get ready, guys. Go get in the Telegram. I'll show you guys what's up on later on Twitter. So peace out, guys. Thank you.